Imagine you are sitting on the jury for a murder trial. It has been determined in this case that the victim died from multiple stab wounds. The prosecution introduces into evidence a receipt showing that the defendant purchased a knife just days before the attack was committed. However, the prosecutor leaves out a specific but important detail. The knife purchased by the defendant was no ordinary kitchen knife, it was a simple butter knife. This detail makes the receipt less convincing on its own. The prosecution has understated the evidence in an attempt to persuade the jury of the defendant's guilt. Here we have an example of the fallacy that philosopher Paul Draper has dubbed the fallacy of understated evidence. Yet while the prosecutor may have acted with an intent to mislead, in other examples this fallacy can be committed unintentionally. Understating the evidence means using a general known fact about a thing X to support a hypothesis, when a more specific known fact about X fails to support the hypothesis. In the context of theism and naturalism, this fallacy amounts to taking a general fact F about X as antecedently more likely on theism than naturalism, while ignoring other more specific facts about X that, given F, are actually more likely on naturalism than on theism. For example, some theists point to the general fact that the universe is complex as evidence favoring theism. A more specific fact, though, is that underneath all the complexity we experience is a much simpler early universe from which this complexity arose. Moreover, at the micro level, the universe consists of a relatively small number of different particles existing in a relatively small number of different states. These specific facts reveal two kinds of simplicity that account for the contemporary complexity of the universe. But on theism, God could be the simple explanation of this complexity, as many apologists claim, without the need for the simpler naturalistic facts about the early universe and the micro-level scale. And so these specific facts are more likely on naturalism than theism. Consciousness serves as another example. The fact that consciousness exists is arguably more likely on theism than on naturalism, given that the former posits a fundamental explanation that is a supreme intelligence or mind. However, there is more to be considered than just the mere existence of consciousness. It is also a fact that conscious states are highly dependent on the brain, seen especially in instances of brain trauma. The supreme mind theism posits is a disembodied consciousness, which would lead us to expect that other minds are independent of the brain too. Yet in the universe we inhabit, we find that consciousness is embodied, lending support to naturalism over theism. Draper also believes that the fallacy of understated evidence applies to the fine-tuning argument. If the universe has been fine-tuned for the existence of intelligent life, it's an odd fact that humans are the only sort of intelligent life we know of. Why is the universe not teeming with other intelligent organisms? And why, if an all-powerful God exists, is there not more impressive intelligent life out there than human beings, what with all of our faults, failings, and design flaws? These more specific facts about the sort of intelligent life that does exist are more likely on naturalism, where intelligent life is recognized as the product of unguided biological evolution. Some additional examples of this fallacy in theistic arguments can be found in a blog entry by Jeff Lauder at the Secular Outpost. Understating the evidence is a mistake we should strive to guard against, whichever side of a debate we fall on ourselves. Building a strong case for our position means confronting more than just the general facts that make it appealing. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, or share it with others online. For more content like this, you can check out godlesshaven.com, as well as our Facebook and Twitter pages. Anything you can do to support us is always much appreciated, even if only helping to spread the word. But we also have a link to donate at the top corner of our website. Until next time.